What should you get Dad for Father's Day? Don't even think about a tie. Gourmet barbecue sauce? Come on, you could beat that. How about a pocket-sized toolbox? Now we're talking. This year, give him a Leatherman multi-tool. These are handy, everyday solutions for outdoorsy dads, Mr. Fix-It dads, and wannabe Mr. Fix-It dads. Leatherman tools are high quality and compact, so he can put it in his pocket and always be prepared. Sounds like one of the toughest gift-giving days just got fixed. Visit Leatherman.com.
Now, I want to tell you about a podcast that can help you sleep. Created by a dad who couldn't find any sounds that would play long enough to last through a whole night of his baby sleeping, 12-Hour Sound Machines has episodes that mask outside noises, promote deep, restful sleep for yourself and for your baby, and that help slow down your brain, reduce anxiety, and aid in thoughtful meditation. Join the millions of listeners that tune in every week to zone out the increasingly busy, distracting world around them. Just search for 12-Hour Sound Machines wherever you get your podcasts. This is Optimal Living Daily, episode 2773, on Knowing What You Don't Know by Cylon George of spirituallivingforbusypeople.com. And I'm Justin Malik, the guy that reads to you every day covering personal development or self-help, how to live a better life, and a lot more. It's always with permission from the authors or websites. And we're going to get right to it and start optimizing your life. On Knowing What You Don't Know by Cylon George of spirituallivingforbusypeople.com. Quote, there are only two ways to live your life. One is as though nothing is a miracle. The other is as though everything is a miracle. Albert Einstein. Know thyself. These words were uttered by Socrates, arguably the greatest philosopher who ever lived. You might be tempted to look at this simple phrase and ask, how difficult can it be to know myself? I live with myself every single day. We assume we know ourselves. We think we know others. We think we know how the world works, and we think our ideas are rock-solid truths. But the truth is, we have no idea. And while Socrates said that phrase, he had no illusions about the process being easy. He concluded that our greatest knowledge comes from being keenly aware of how little we actually know. How often, though, do we use our knowledge to bring down ourselves and others? How often do we see people on TV, radio, and in person talk about events as if they control the cosmos? Nowadays, it's the hardest thing to just say, I don't know. But this statement is the truest one we can ever make as it relates to knowing anything. The trap of knowing it all. The world of the known is embarrassingly small compared to the vastness of what we don't know. When we cling to what we know, we confine ourselves in very small worlds of our own making. Think you don't have any natural talents, think others constantly judge you, think the outside world is hostile, think you know everything about the person you dislike most, think you're beyond all hope. These are just a few of the things you know that are keeping you imprisoned in your reality, a reality devoid of miracles. But you know what? Miracles are all around you. Miracles are nothing more than reminders of just how little we know. They don't usually appear in big flashes of light. They appear in the opening of a flower, in the rising of the sun, and in the random acts of kindness people perform every day. What if you became open to seeing the miracles? How might your world be transformed? Some tips for unknowing. If you're tired of the small world you're living in and are ready to go exploring, your next question might be, how do I begin the process of unknowing? Well, number one, stop talking. Stop talking about how crappy your life is. Stop talking about how terrible your neighbor is. Stop talking about how the economy is so bad and you just can't catch a break. The reason why you speak in such disempowering ways is because you carry around disempowering beliefs. The way to release yourself from them is to write them down when you wake up first thing in the morning. Seeing them on paper will show you just how little power they have over you. Number two, listen. Once you learn to silence your mouth and mind, you'll become more open to the guidance that is within you and all around you. You'll learn to listen, not just with your ears, but with your body and your soul. That ache in your shoulder you weren't even aware of suddenly becomes a source of new insight. That emotional distress is transformed from a source of endless pain into a conduit of grace. The nagging words of your loved one becomes the answer to your nagging problem. Number 3, get curious. When you do speak, ask questions. Ask questions in your daily conversations rather than making statements or pronouncements. Making pronouncements over ourselves or others is one of the cruelest things we can do. It's often done in judgment and usually arises out of emptiness, fear, or discomfort rather than any well of truth. Socrates dedicated his life to asking questions. His insatiable curiosity was the hallmark of his genius. And number 4, love. Too often we use our knowledge as a way of trying to lord it over others. It's the way we unconsciously seek to love and accept ourselves. The true path to self-acceptance and love, however, is by loving others. We don't need to be superior or inferior to others. We simply need to love them. This love is not some wishy-washy thing. You love when you practice the first 3 steps with full awareness and attention. When you expand into this new reality, you'll be shocked by just how small the world of superiority is. Unknow thyself. Want to have a life of joy and wonder? Don't cling too tightly to what you know. The universe is too awesomely complex for that. So is each person, including you. Whenever you're tempted to discount or dismiss yourself or others based on what you know, guard your heart with the phrase, I don't know, and have the courage to be open to the abundant wisdom and grace that's all around and within you. You just listened to the post titled, On Knowing What You Don't Know by Cylon George of spirituallivingforbusypeople.com.
For more than a decade, Comcast has been committed to bridging the digital divide and connecting millions of Americans to affordable, high-speed internet. But the barriers to get connected go well beyond affordability. That's why Comcast has expanded its efforts through Project Up. Backed by a $1 billion commitment, Comcast is partnering with local community experts to build a network of digital navigators, individuals who help build awareness around initiatives like the government's Affordable Connectivity Program and teach digital skills to get more people online. Learn more at comcast.com/projectup.
Looking for a scientifically tested and strategic way to improve your mental health? Introducing Neurocycle, the world's first clinically tested app whose mind management system has been over 30 years in the making. It's a simple audio and video guided program you do over 63 days to identify the root cause of whatever is causing you pain and rewire this pain as healthy new neural networks into your brain. I've been using Neurocycle for a few weeks now, and I'm already feeling a lot more clarity on where some of my own struggles originate. I'm learning a lot about myself. It's amazing to think that there's still another month plus before my 63 days is up. I can tell there's still a lot of growth to come. And for a limited time, get 50% off your first month subscription with code OLD. Go to www.neurocycle.app. That's www.neurocycle.app and click on Access Web Version to use promo code OLD so they know we sent you. This offer is only valid online. Thank you to Cylon. It really is easy to think that we're self-aware, knowing exactly how we appear to the outside world and knowledgeable about everything. When I was little, it was more difficult to record ourselves with ease, but I do remember seeing myself on camera, VHS tapes to date myself, and thinking, what? That's what I acted like or looked like in that moment? Now it's a bit easier with most of us having cameras in our pockets at all times. Even though I prided myself on being self-aware at the time I thought I was, I don't think I really was now, and still don't think I am now after that small lesson. And Cylon is saying that it's something we could all work on really, and not just with self-awareness, but with knowledge in general, having some humility. I've brought up random, odd homework assignments that a college professor gave me back in the day, and this idea of looking at things from a different perspective reminded me of yet another paper I had to write. This one's a little off topic, but kind of relates. He said, go for a walk, maybe just 5 or 10 minutes. But instead of looking at, the flower, the tree, the signpost, look at their shadows instead. Try to only look at the shadows while you're out there walking. Now, if you do this, be careful with steps or uneven ground because it can be a bit discombobulating, but it sort of forces us to not only look at what we've always looked at. I found that assignment pretty interesting. So with that, have a fresh look at the day, have a great one, and I'll see you tomorrow where your optimal life awaits.